Welcome to our lecture online. Now here is an interesting sum of two angles, sine of A plus sine of B, and it turns out to find the equivalent equation is actually quite intricate. And you really have to think of the right trick. So if you've never seen this trick before, it would be very difficult to think of it, to try and find some expression where you can write the sine of A plus the sine of B. Here's the trick. You start with multiplying the sine of A plus B times the cosine of A minus B. Of course, why do we do that? You'll see in the end, but again, you have a hard time realizing that this will get you to the proper solution, but let's see why it does. So first the sine of A plus B. That'll give you the sine of A times the cosine of B plus the cosine of A times the sine of B. And we'll put that in brackets, and then we're going to multiply that times the result of this, which is the cosine of A times the cosine of B plus the sine of A times the sine of B. All right, what happens now when we multiply all that together? That's quite a mess probably, right? So this becomes equal to, so we have the sine A cosine B cosine A cosine B, so that gives us a sine A cosine A cosine square of B. All right, how about this term times this term? That gives us sine square of A sine of B cosine of B. Yep, not plus, but multiplied, so cosine of B. All right, now this term times this term, plus sine B cosine square of A cosine of B. And plus this term times this term, we get sine A sine square of B times the cosine of A. All right, so at this point you're starting to wonder, how in the world is this going to equal that? Well, let's keep going and see what happens. Are there common terms? Cosine square of B, cosine square of A, sine square of A, sine square of B. Now I'm beginning to think. If we can add the terms together, can we factor out what's left? So we have, let's say, a sine square of A and the sine square of B. We have sine A, sine B, cosine B. So that doesn't seem to work. Oh, how about sine square of A, cosine square of A? Sine B, cosine B, sine B, cosine B. Here we go. Notice when we take a look at these two terms, they have in common the factors sine B, cosine B, sine B, cosine B. So I can factor out a sine B, cosine B. When I do that, sine B, cosine B, I'm left with a sine square of A plus a cosine square of A. And then, of course, that equals 1, so that simplifies a lot. How about these two terms? Well, we have a sine A, cosine A, sine A, cosine A. Again, those two terms both contain the factor sine A, cosine A, so I can factor those out, sine A, cosine A, and I'm left with a cosine square of B and a sine square of B. So sine square of B plus a cosine square of B plus. So now you realize that this becomes equal to 1 and that becomes equal to 1. So this becomes equal to the sine of A, cosine of A, plus sine of B, cosine of B. All right, now we need one more identity to transform this into something that looks much closer to that. Notice that if I have the sine of 2A, that equals the sine of A plus A, which equals sine A cosine A plus sine B cosine B. And that then equals 2 times the sine of A times the cosine. Hold on a second. Let's back up. That's not correct. Let's try that again. All right, so this would be equal to the sine of A cosine A plus cosine A sine A, because the angles are the same. And so this becomes 2 times the sine A times the cosine of A. And that's what I have over there. So likewise, the sine of 2b can be written as 2 times the sine of b times the cosine of b, which means that the sine of a, the sine A cosine A can be written as 1/2 the sine of 2a. So this can be written as 1/2 the sine of 2a. Remember, if the sine of 2a equals twice that, then this will equal 1/2 that. And the same over here, 1/2 the sine of 2b. So now we realize that this here is equal to this. Now, how close does this resemble that? Well, first of all, I don't like the 1/2. I need to get rid of the 1/2. So that means I need to multiply this times 2. So multiply times 2, which means I need to multiply this times 2. When I do that, I get rid of the 1/2. So now I have the sine of 2a and the sine of 2b. But I need the sine of a plus the sine of b, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide this by 2 and this by 2. So now I'm dividing the angles by 2, which means I need to divide the angles by 2 here as well. And now I realize if I do that, I end up with the sine of a plus the sine of b, which is exactly what I have over there, which means that that's equal to what I have over there with the changes in blue. So finally, I can write that the sine of a plus the sine of b is equal to 2 times the sine of a over 2 plus b over 2 times the cosine of a over 2 minus b over 2. And that here is the equivalent to the sine of a plus the sine of b. And the advantage, of course, of having this form is that everything is multiplied together, where here you have to add them together. And so there's applications where this is a much preferred form over this. And that is why this is such a nice identity. And this is how we define that identity. It's tricky. Once you see the trick, it begins to make sense. And that is how it's done.